What's up, guys? My name is Aaron. Today I'm going to be reviewing Justice League. This movie is directed by Zack Snyder and it stars Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, Jason Momoa, Ray Fisher, and it's basically like the formation of the Justice League as a group, and they're forming together to stop a monster, Steppenwolf, from destroying the world and destroying the universe, basically. I'm honestly not the biggest DC fan. Wonder Woman's probably the best one that they've made so far, and I would say Man of Steel too. I kind of like that to a certain degree, but the other ones just aren't really my favorites. They're just really not like my favorite like superhero movies or anything like that. Yeah, I just went into this with a fair shake. I didn't like go into it wanting to hate it or anything like that. I do appreciate the kind of change in tone. This is a little bit more lighter, but I feel like overall this is just a very generic superhero movie. There's really not much that really differentiates itself from other movies outside of maybe Zack Snyder's visual style to me, which is awesome, by the way. Like, his style is like really great. But this movie to me isn't that distinctive from other superhero movies, even from just this year. The good things I will say about this movie is the visual style, of course, is really great. Zack Snyder movies always look like they're like a painting that just came to life, basically. I'm thinking about like some of the scenes that kind of involve Steppenwolf and kind of like the hellish like scape that he has on Earth and stuff. The scenes where is that Wonder Woman's like homeland or whatever. There's some scenes that are on Kent's farm and stuff, and I think those scenes are really well made. Just like the overall look of it, like the slow motion action, the dark aesthetic of it, it's like really well done. And Zack Snyder, it always has like a really nice visual style that I like, even if I'm not like a really big fan of the movie itself. And I do think Jason Momoa as Aquaman was really great. He was like a true badass in this movie, and he just had a really cool swagger about him. And it really made me excited to see him in other movies that he does, like in his own solo movie. It actually made me a little bit more excited for that movie. I also thought that Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, she's still great. She still has like this really nice charisma about her, and I do like seeing her fight and stuff. Like, she really comes across really powerful, intimidating and stuff, but also has that like woman-esque like feature about her. Like, she's just really great at like nailing this character, and I just like the character moments that the Justice League actually kind of interact with each other. Like, that's basically what I wanted from the movie. There's not like a lot of scenes with that, but whenever they do interact, it's really interesting, and it's really kind of cool to me. I also like the Superman stuff. You know, that's who he was in the movie. Like, Henry Cavill's like listed in the description. He's not really in it that much, but the scenes that he's in were actually kind of emotional to me. Like, the majority of the movie is just kind of like a generic superhero movie, whatever. But when he's introduced again in the movie, it's kind of emotional, and it's basically what I think Zack Snyder was basically trying to do with these movies, with the style of it. You know what I mean? And it kind of pays off to me. And I do think that Henry Cavill did a pretty good job with the role. But outside of that, I feel like this was kind of a mess. Like I said, it's a very generic superhero movie. These heroes have to get together and fight this monster or something, this villain from destroying the world. But to me, it didn't really feel that all that urgent to me. I think it's basically because the villain didn't feel that fleshed out to me. It felt like just a generic superhero villain. You know what I mean? Steppenwolf just felt like a CGI monster. There was really no stakes with it, and the motive for the role was just kind of generic to me. It was just like, I gotta stop the world, basically. But it was just didn't really register with me, and I didn't really feel that much urgency that why did I have to stop him so quickly? You know what I mean? The dialogue felt pretty weak to me. It didn't really have any dramatic heft to it outside of the Superman scenes where he's introduced again. The humor really kind of distracted from me. It really didn't feel natural to me. It felt like Joss Whedon's take, who kind of helped write this movie and kind of finish the movie too, but it just felt kind of toned down, and I don't think really any of the actors really kind of fit well with this dialogue outside of Jason Momoa or Ezra Miller to a certain extent. I feel like Diana didn't get any chances to kind of shine comedically, which I thought was kind of a shame because Gal Gadot is actually a pretty good comedic actress. I felt like The Flash was kind of over the top to me. He felt like Spider-Man, but like times five, and it was just kind of over the top and kind of the same beats basically throughout that storyline. I think Ezra Miller is still like a really talented actor, but I don't think the character was all that like interesting. It was just kind of one note to me. And then Cyborg is just like the most bland, boring character I've ever seen. He doesn't really have like a true personality about him. I think it's an interesting concept to kind of make him this like tortured Frankenstein monster that kind of hates himself. But it's just basically him brooding throughout the movie, and he's not really given like a lot of personality in this movie at all. And I think Ray Fisher's doing what he can with the role, really, but it just really wasn't a good role, and it really makes me question how they're going to do Cyborg solo movie because they put that on the docket, and based off this, I don't understand how they're going to do that. Yeah, this movie to me was kind of like a mixed bag to me. It is just a movie basically. This just really wasn't my style, to be honest. The visuals are great. Zack Snyder is like a visionary god, basically based off of like how he creates these images and stuff, and that's all apparent in this movie. Some of the character moments when they actually interacted were kind of cool, and Jason Momoa and Wonder Woman especially were probably my favorite characters in this movie, but it just felt like a generic superhero movie, and I just feel like a Justice League movie should have been a little bit more, should have been a little bit more epic, you know what I mean? But overall, I'll probably give this like a 5 out of 10. Was to me the weakest superhero movie of this year, and it's kind of a shame because I expected a little bit more. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Justice League. What are your guys' thoughts? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and thanks for watching. Thanks, guys.